Kane, it's 1-0. We're fucking down. 13th in the championship. The takeover happened as I said it would. People will be. Oh, when have we got Leeds? Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Your Football Show and good evening. Sorry for the confusion. I did say initially that it was set for 11 p.m. It was a total error. So sorry if you're joining a bit late or wondering why did you go live now when you said 11 p.m. So my apologies first and foremost for that. Exactly, I was doing it for Andrea. It's 11 p.m. Andrea time. Is that the Big Ben on your phone?
Yeah, one of my pictures I took when I was in London in February last year. Yeah.
There you go. There you go, LDN. Look, big up to everyone in the chat. Please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course, hit that notification bell. Probably won't be an overly long one. Obviously, we tracked you to an hour and 40 odd minutes yesterday on the scouting report. We're just going to cover off the latest news. It's been a quiet day. We responded to obviously Daniel Farker's comments. There wasn't much in there. Phil Hay did a live with the Square Ball lads. Again, just confirming what we already knew. There's not really much news out there at the minute. But one thing that did sort of come out of the blue, which shocked me and didn't even realise was going to be happening, was news that Stuart Downing is going to be coming on board at Leeds United as the under-21 coach, mate. So LUFC Youth, congratulations to Stewart Downing, who has been appointed the under-21s coach, and he will work alongside under-21s manager Steve Gardner. Obviously has an illustrious career, played for England, Liverpool, Middlesbrough. We were looking just off air, weren't we, mate? He's had, started to go through his coaching badges, if you like, whilst at Rockcliffe, which is the Middlesbrough training ground complex. I'm quite surprised that he hasn't been given a role at Middlesbrough because he's a bit of a legend there. But yeah, look, Stuart Downing, having someone like that coming into the setup can only help for experience, right? And as we've seen, when you look at a lot of what the Championship's doing and also League One and League Two, we're genuinely seeing a change. And what I mean by that is, Andrea, we're not seeing the old dinosaur managers get employed anymore. Everyone's looking for that next young and up-and-coming manager, even in the lower leagues now, to take them to that next level. And I'm not saying Stuart Downing will be that, but he clearly has a wealth of experience to call upon. And who knows, he might be in a position where, okay, let's see what he's got and then move him up to the first team, etc. But what do you make to the announcement that Stuart Downing will be coming as a coach at Leeds United?
Yeah, it feels like that they're starting to scout not just the players but also the managers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
a little bit, But I'm very pleased, to be fair. I'm very pleased because we've seen that he started to have his career path as a coach at Middlesbrough, but of course he was involved basically with all age groups not as a manager, as a coach, basically working with all the age groups, being involved in all the staffs. So you work with different managers, there's different coaches with age groups, so you get something for every coach you work with, apart from the managers you work with during your career as a footballer. And focusing on the career as a footballer, I'm very pleased because he was a cracking player and he played in very good sides, because when he was at Borough, two very good sides, they got promoted. The Premier League, they went to the UEFA Cup when he was there in his first stint. And honestly, managers that have worked recently with Borough, I think is a pretty good academy to start your coaching path. Of course, didn't work out for Woodgate, unfortunately, when he started there. Of course, it's different because they're both, I think they're also related, because I think one of them is married to the...
Yeah, they're very good friends as well, to be honest, in the Middlesbrough area. I can't lie to you. They've got quite a
status.
Bad reputation down in Woodgate back in the day, over in Yarm and stuff. They used to go out together and be shits, really, to be honest. But they do. They're very good friends as well. And I know Woodgate's still at Middlesbrough, isn't he? He's on Michael Carrick's coaching staff, is Woodgate. So that's why I was quite surprised that Downing's come across here. But it's a good move, though.
Yeah. I think you can learn from him, honestly, because I have seen him talking a few years back when he went to Another Coach podcast. The one that John Park and Chris Brown do, for example, with the all the former players.
Yeah.
And it was a good chat. I think he spoke well. He had to say a lot of anecdotes and behind the scenes about how we went through the system of Boros, so he knows firsthand. Of course, there's this debate about Middlesbrough being in the northeast, while
Yeah,
technically,
exactly. Yeah.
but yeah, I think coming through the ranks of that setup back at the time when they had a very good squad, because they had Ravanelli, Boxic, all those kind of player, Windas, very tricky one, in terms of skill. Rigot, Boateng, all those players, when you brought into the team. I think it's helpful also to another youth setup at Leeds in this case, because it's been there in a very rated academy, and it can help in that case. Of course, it's just a start, but it's good to have. I'm really pro having former footballers involved at the football club, especially if they play at that set football club. It's not the case of
Yeah.
Downing in this case, but for example, when we saw Mark Jackson, for example, he played for Leeds, so he knows Leeds. There's a lot of rhetoric maybe about this specific thing, about former players returning to their former hunting ground, to work. But I think it's helpful because they've already been there. They can help the young players develop because they've been there before. In that case, so I'm really pleased to see Downing coming to Leeds, honestly.
Yeah, same. I agree with you. Baseline Bible says, "Hi lads, it's Brett. Big up, Brett." He says, "Let's have a friendly bet. Both give me a number of signings you think we will achieve this January window. I say 1. Keep up the good work. I say I'm going to say 3 because I think Creswell. Yeah, I think Creswell might go. So I think we get right back, left back, and a centre back. Andrea, thoughts? Are you drinking, mate? Are you drinking, mate?
Yeah, this one.
Oh,
yeah.
Bielsa, man, I love that. I got sent some of that, man. I don't like it.
Yeah, I drink it in the morning when I go to work. When I'm working in front of the computer, I have all the setup with the sugar too, and all that kind of stuff, But yeah, I agree. I agree 3-2. Not right back, left back, and you said creative midfielder,
centre back.
So all defenders.
Yeah.
I think we get a left back. Hopefully Ryan Giles. I really hope we get Ryan Giles. Honestly, I think it's the most realistic one so far for me. Viable because he's not playing at Luton. But they have Cabora now in the Africa Cup of Nations, unfortunately. So I say left back, centre back, Preswell goes, and then I think we get a creative one that can play in midfield, because right now we're very light, I think, because we have Gruyev, Kamara, and Ampadu, and we don't have anyone else, basically, because Shackleton and Gray are played so far as right backs. And unless another player comes in and you switch Byram to the right with another left back, you just have Gray and Shackleton on the right. That's very light in terms of numbers of personnel.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And the thing is, I think as well, just on the centre back chat, and I think that he'll see Ampadu as an option there as well now because of how well he's done, and that Gruev can now also play in midfield. I think that's something to think about. Just on the midfielder you mentioned as well, like Phil Hay didn't sort of like pour water on the David Brooks stuff. It was very much like Leeds are still there, and it'll be up to Bournemouth whether or not they allow him to go on loan. Would David Brooks be someone you would like? Because it looks to me, with this link to that Manuel Benson as well, that maybe we're looking at a right winger who can play with his left foot. Do you know what I mean? And they're similar sort of profile.
Yeah, the only problem is that I really like both players, but they're both wingers, and right now we have Somerville, James, Nyont, and Anthony. So what's next for Jadon Anthony and Nyont, for example, if you bring in Manuel Benson or David Brooks? Because I think if they let them leave on loan, of course they want to have guaranteed game time, because they are coming from Premier League sides, Benson and Brooks, and they have, of course, especially Brooks, Premier League experience, also Welsh international. So it's very tricky, because if they arrive, they're both wingers. So are we moving Gnonto centrally to be the backup of Ruth, or rather in the number 10 maybe? Because I've read also the news about Gnonto linked to West Ham, but there's literally nothing about it in Italy. So
I don't think it's.
I don't know what to make about it. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. Because otherwise there would have been news in Italy, and I've checked like 5 minutes ago, and there's nothing. Last news about Gnonto is about 1 month ago in Italy.
Yeah, the thing is with
the Italian one.
Yeah, the thing is with West Ham, they never do much business anyway.
Yeah.
They're dragging their heels. It looks like they might be looking to get Calvin, so they'll want to get that deal sorted. I just don't think. I think Gnonto's still here. I don't think anyone leaves apart from Creswell. If anyone leaves, it'll be Creswell. I'd like Joffrey to go out on loan, in all honesty, but I don't think that Farke wants him to go out on loan. But I think he needs a loan. That's just my opinion on Joffrey, but. From what Farke says,
I agree. Absolutely.
He definitely needs minutes.
Absolutely, I agree. He needs the minutes, and I said that at the start of the season. I think he needed a loan, because in this system, I said also that Greenwood needed a loan. So I was more in favor of Gallard staying, but then Gallard was out of the plans. So I agree more now that he needs a loan, because we have different players who can play this position. He's more like a second striker. He's not a number 9. So he needs to go and play. The only problem is that I see a lot of people mentioning the position of Cresswell, because we are liked in that. But honestly, I don't know why there's people not mentioning Gallard, for example, because for what they have shown so far, Gallard had a very good stint, especially in the first season under Marsh, when we were very short in terms of numbers. And we had to create something, and Gallard had that very good spell, after Bielsa made having his debut, After that, he had a difficult time. Cresswell had a good time when he moved, when he broke into the team, the first time, when he played a handful of games, after his debut with West Ham and Road, It's similar to me, because they were both really highly rated. Now, one is not playing, but also the other one is not playing. So the ideal position for me, especially because Cresswell renewed his contract last summer when Farke was already at Leeds. So the door again is open, because Farke, otherwise, if he didn't trade Cresswell, he would have said, no, let's not renew him. Let's accept the bids, because the bids were there, the interest was there. The situation is similar to me. So, of course, we're keeping them, despite they're not playing. One, because Farke is saying that Cresswell needs to do more, for example, to be in the matchday squad. But also, Joffrey, I think he's not getting minutes because there's a lot of options there.
Yeah.
I think the best solution will be try to loan try to loan them out, both of them, because Cresswell is on contract. Let's loan him out and maybe revalue him next summer, so Farke can see his progress at another team on loan.
I agree.
That's my point of view.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't see how or when he gets in. I'd even advocate playing Poveda ahead of him, and that's coming from me. And I don't rate Poveda, so yeah, it's tough. Another player that came obviously with a lot of fanfare, and has obviously not nowhere near hit the heights, and it's quite surprising to see him move on. Lewis Bates gone on loan for MK Dons until the end of the season. I think his contract's up in the summer as well, so it looks like Lewis Bates doesn't have a career at Leeds. It's a mad flex, because when you consider some fans on Twitter believe that he should be playing in this side, yet he's going to MK Dons on loan. Why do you think that's failed? Because he did come with a lot of fanfare. He was obviously well thought of, when he moved from Chelsea. But yeah, do you think it's his size, his stature potentially?
It may be, I think, because it's very DFL is very
physical as well, bro. League 2.
Yeah, that's the problem, because I think he was decent with Oxford United last season when he was there on loan. So Oxford United, of course, are a very well-run club in terms of transfers. I think they do smart business. So he did well. I think he was decent in League 1. So why not sending him out to another League 1 side, even one fighting for relegation, towards relegation? League 2, they're 7th, I think, in League 2. That club, Milton Keynes Stones, I really don't like them, honestly, because of the
What,
of that
MK
Wimbledon.
Dons because of
Yeah, Wimbledon
Wimbledon and
thing. Yeah, I don't
that?
like them, honestly. But you know what? It's the size, the physicality. Yeah, I agree. There's also other players. You know, I think another example may be Josh Cullen at Burnley. He's not the highest, the tallest player, but he is physical. He's physical. He's built physique and muscle. Because when he started out, he had Bradford City, Bolton, Charlton. He knew, and then he moved to Anderlecht, and he modeled this game. You know, I think with Bale the problem is that when he arrived, there was this tendency under the Horta regime, the Horta hierarchy, to hype constantly all the players that signed for the academy. Some
The
were good, like
pathway and all sort of stuff. We've got a
yeah,
path.
exactly. There was too much coverage too. I like the
Yeah.
coverage about the youth system, but there was constant coverage about
Because then
certain players.
it sets expectations so high, doesn't it, as well? Yeah, that's true.
You know,
That is so true.
Joffrey, Greenwood,
Yeah.
Chris Ainshaw, and there were a lot of other players.
Yeah,
Plus
Shelder even Shelder,
yeah.
they were all in there, mate. You're right. You bang
JB
on.
this season, you know, and all them. And
100%.
sometimes, like we said, it's difficult to adapt immediately to senior football. It's not the same level of football. It's not the same.
Yeah, no, it's such a massive step up. Liam's just messaged me saying, "Have you seen the chair news?"
Yes,
chair. I'm assuming that's what he's referring to. I'll have to have a quick look, but I haven't seen any chair news. I will have a look. While we do that, though, another exciting prospect that is part of that you've set up and like's just been mentioned in the chat by Andrew. Mateo Joseph signs a contract extension until 2028, which what it does do for me is show that Daniel Parker rates him. He's involved in match day squads. You would assume that he would hopefully be the long-term replacement for Patrick if we don't buy a striker, you know. And I think, you know, we'll see a lot more of him between now and the end of the season, I'd imagine. But yeah, Mateo Joseph getting a new deal till 2028. Oh wow, okay. Breaking news. Let's just switch over to this. So this won't be happening now. QPR star Ilias Chair faces calls for 2 years in jail after smashing lorry driver's skull with a rock. So that's what it says. That's what it says. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. So Ilias Chair is a deal.
Abroad. Yeah, it happened abroad, I think, because I was seeing the timeline too, and it says he was in Belgium, I think, that this thing happened.
Okay.
Yeah, Antwerp, yeah.
They've called for him to be jailed for 2 years after he was accused of smashing a lorry driver's skull with a rock. Safe to say he's not coming then, and that's probably why clubs haven't moved for him as well, because they'll have been aware of this surely behind the scenes, you would imagine. Skull fracture, apparently the victim did. So yeah, that's almost fatal. So yeah, that's definitely not going to be happening anytime soon. But getting back to some more positive news, of course, Mateo Joseph, mate. Talk to me about Joseph. 2028, it's a long deal.
Yeah, one of I like him, I rate him, but he's really a pupil of Loki's, you know, because Loki really rates him, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think when we signed him from Espanyol, he went a little bit under the radar compared to others.
Yeah,
but
he definitely did. Yeah.
Yeah, I did, I think. And it's really good to see that the club is rating, especially in a short period of time, you know, in like 3 days, Archie Gray, 2028, Matteo Joseph, 2028. We're building our future here. And we are fending off, you know, like Don Quixote with the windmills, you know. We're fending off the potential interest of other clubs. Because for an example of Archie, there were already rumors about Liverpool, Man United, you know. So it's good to have a long contact with these players, and this shows you that you believe in them. You believe in them. They are professional players now. because before, of course, they were young youth players still. So now they have a contract, different one, adequate to their level, their potential, than the professionalism now, because they are professional players basically. And I think it was time. It's good to see that they have decided to time down, you know, because at the start of the season, Farke, especially in Oslo, when we played against Man United, he played him as a winger. It was not the same qualities. Now, of course, we didn't have certain players. But right now, seeing his cameos when he comes on, when he subbed on, you know, in the game, you know, I think he's easy more like a number 9, and he really has the potential to be a number 9, similar to Patrick Bamford in terms of movement, off the ball movement, because that's what we're missing right now if Bamford doesn't play, because Pirot cannot do that. Pirot is a very different player. Pirot is totally different, and I have to be honest. I really struggle, like I said at the start of the season, to see him, to picture him into this side. If you look, there were also comments about the fact that the experiment worked before. I don't think it worked. It never worked. I think he scored goals. Yes, he scored goals, Pirot, but look at the number of goals he scored and when he scored those goals. Just one outside from the box. The number 10 should be outside of the box, not go inside the box. So he was probably he's a finisher. He's a different player. So Joseph can be the alternative to Bamford. And now that he has a contract, this is also a message. 2028, there's your chance to be an alternative to Patrick Bamford.
It's like saying, I trust you, isn't it? I trust you. We want you here. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. That's it. And it also shows that now we're playing with this formation. It's working with Bamford stretching the team. You can be the alternative because you play the same way. It's a very similar way, the way Joseph plays.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's a great deal and a positive deal, and shows that Leeds United are aware of what's going on. Yeah, they're looking at incomings, but they're also looking at players that are already here and ensuring that they stay here long term. Obviously, Matteo Joseph had a few run-outs for the England youth as well. I do just want to chat about Joe Rodon as well, because it's been mentioned all. Basically, an absolute con artist in Ekrem Corner tweeted out saying that Leeds were in advanced talks. We all believed it was BS anyway. Ekrem Corner very rarely gets anything right, if I'm being totally honest. He's a bit of a chancer. And Sam Rodon, Joe Rodon's brother, actually responded to him and said, "Know him, do you?" But yeah, Daniel Farke. Yeah, he is. He's good for interaction. But Daniel Farke spoke about it in his presser today, just making the point of saying, you know, we're not concerned about him. It's something that will be sorted out in the summer. And I know, and I have to agree with what others have said in terms of it doesn't make business sense for us to sign him just in case we don't go up. And it also doesn't make sense for Joe Rodon, because I've said before, if we don't get promoted and Leicester and Southampton go up, they'll be looking at Joe Rodon because they've also got players in on loan that they could go, do you know what? Rodon will probably cost us less than Taylor Harwood-Bellis, so let's go get Rodon. So he's going to be a wanted man if Leeds United don't get promoted, isn't it?
Absolutely. I agree totally, because it doesn't make sense for us, especially in terms of wages too, you know, because he'd be one of the top earners, because if you look at the contribution he does for the team in terms of performances, he is probably in contention for best player of the season so far, alongside Lampadu and Rotter and Somerville. So those four, I think, are and James. So those five are the best, the more consistent ones, I think. Parr a little bit down, Strauch now because he had some injuries. But yeah, it wouldn't make sense for him to, you know, in terms of his career, because if he signs for us now and we don't go up, he'll be in the Championship. So he's shown that he can be above the level of this league, and it wouldn't make sense for him to sign now for a club not certain to get promoted. If you get promoted, it's a no-brainer to spend that money on Joe Rodon and try to play, I'll be honest, Strauch and Rodon also in the Premier League. Because the next target, if we go up, let's stay calm. First of all, we need to go up. The first target should be not get relegated.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 100%. I agree. And I think for me, I think the most important signing if we were to get promoted would be a number 9 for me, Andrea.
Absolutely.
I'd straight away want an absolute bags man, someone who's going to come in and we can guarantee is going to get goals and not miss a lot of opportunities, which is what Bamford can tend to do. We definitely need a number 9. And, when we spoke to Ben Jacobs, he said, that he felt that the club were eyeing it up, and whether or not, they can maybe push that forward to the summer. I'd be happy. Are you happy to look at the forward areas, if you like, and think, do you know what? We've got enough to get through the rest of this season? Because I am, mate. In my opinion, I am. But what's yours?
I don't know, honestly. I'm not very confident or settled. I would like to see another offensive player come in. And I think we're looking at one because we've been linked to it, David Brooks with Fabio Carvalho before he went to all,
That's
But
a good point,
I think right now, with Rodon in the 10, you still need a different option in midfield as a 10/creative 8, because we're very light. Gruyev, Ampadu, and Kamara, 3 players. Then Gray plays as a right back, so you have 3 players basically in midfield. That's the problem. We're very light there, I think. And the other problem for me with this formation, it's working right now because of Bamford. If Bamford gets injured or suspended, you have to play again with Pirot. But Pirot doesn't stretch the team, so we are at the start again. We going back to the start, like Coldplay says, going back to the start. No, to the start. So actually says the song, not start. Start. We're to the start, and we're back at blank point again. Again with the option of Pirot and Rotor again switching and all that. After all the work we've done to understand that we need a number 9 touching the team, Rotor in the 10. I like to see another player coming in, arriving at the club, but probably back. He may even try Faka to play Joseph and Rotor, but Joseph needs time to build his confidence, to develop. We cannot trust him to be our starting number 9.
I wouldn't want him starting. Yeah.
Also, there's a risk to the risk of burnout. Like what happened to Gerrard. We started on a high, then you don't replicate, and you set expectation high, and then you cannot replicate those, and you struggle to find your feet and form again. So like another one to arrive. But I get that it's like a domino, a domino effect or a chess match. If you get one player in defense, you don't get one player on another position. If you get a player in midfield, you don't get a defender. Maybe we're not getting 4 players, because ideally we need a left back. And ideally for me it was a left back as a midfielder and a striker. But I get that, honestly, probably we get a centre back if Cresswell leaves, and probably left back and maybe a creative midfielder, because they looked at Brooks and Benson, this link with Benson, and also this link with Brooks. So I think the position will be the full back and the creative midfielder, and maybe the centre back if Cresswell leaves, unfortunately. But the problem will be with the striker position for me. If Bamford gets suspended or injury, there will be a problem. A problem will arise for me in that case.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment. I just had to Google this name to make sure I wasn't being wound up. But do you know anything about Cho Gu-sung, who plays as a number 9, playing at I always get the club name. It's Midgetland, I call them.
Midgetland. Let me check, because there's loads of players. Tall striker. Now remember him at the World Cup. I don't know, honestly. I took a look the other day at him too, because you remember that with the Danish league, I went to look at some of the players that were in the list for the centre back position, and so there were also players playing at Midtjylland. Honestly, he may be ready for the championship, but not at the level we're at right now. For me, his 8 is very fast though. I remember him at the World Cup, but I don't know, honestly. He's mainly a finisher with the headers, aerial duels, aerial balls. It's different to Bamford. He's more a physical old number 9, the old stallions like in the 70s,
Yeah, for sure. I don't know enough about him. It's the first time I've seen him, mate, to be honest. So there you go. But yeah, I think we've covered all the latest news, folks. I didn't want to keep you too long. Andrea will be tired. I'm tired. You'll be tired. No, though, in the morning at 12:30, I'll be doing a watch along for Swansea versus Southampton. Hopefully, Swansea can get the weekend off to a great start by beating Southampton. Hull got beat again. Hull won tonight, against Sunderland. There were calls for Michael Beale's head already. So Fabio Carvalho scored as well on the 71st minute for Hull. Much needed win for Hull City. I wonder if that pulls them into the top 6. It does. It puts them in 6th. Yeah, listen, Southampton drop points tomorrow. We win on Sunday, puts us a point behind them, but we'll see. We'll see if they drop points because they're flying, aren't they? But we'll be watching the game, folks, on this channel, so make sure you join me. Thanks always for watching. Show some love to Andrea, and we will see you. Andrea will probably see you Sunday, hopefully, in the post-match reaction.
Yeah, tomorrow, okay, folks. Another game, we play Como with Fabregas.
Fabregas, love that, love that. Well, good luck to Regina, and we'll see you in a bit, folks. Bye.